Hi guys, thanks for joining me. I'm Joe, and I'm here with a replay against yet another Esper deck. This one appears to be a little bit different though. It's playing the Thopter, Foundry, Sword of the Meat combo, along with main deck Ensnaring Bridges. Pretty gross. Inquisition of Kozilek. Looks like this is a probable keep for the opponent. On my side of things, I've got an AEther Vial, 4 lands, and 2 Harbinger of the Tides. It's pretty meh. I mean, if I mulligan, hit a couple lands in a Silvergill, it's almost certainly going to be better than this thing. I don't need much for the hand to get better, so probably a mulligan for me. So I think I'm on the play here, but the opponent's already announced that he's going to keep. I give it a good thought here, and I do mulligan, and I do get a better hand. It's much better. Okay, looking at the top card, I'm going to choose to keep it there. We'll see what that was on my next draw step. I'll open with Island into Cursecatcher. The opponent drew a Spellskite. Inquisition of Kozilek, I'm going to counter that because the spells in my hand are more powerful than the Cursecatcher. Well, I chose to keep a Cavern on the top. I needed lands. I only had 2 in the opening hand. And I want to be able to resolve this Master of Waves. The opponent has drawn his 4th land, and looks like he's going to run out a Spellskite here, trying to get some blocks going, but I'll have another Island Walk Lord coming out, and I'll just be able to push right past that Spellskite. AEther Vial is an efficient draw there. It will allow me to use all of my mana this turn, but I'm going to need to keep drawing creatures for the next couple turns in order to apply enough pressure. Alright, so the opponent draws another land, and they could choose to resolve an Ensnaring Bridge here, but that would leave them with 5 cards in hand. They think better of putting that Godless Shrine into play. Well, they bring it back out. So they've taken 3 from my Lord of Atlantis, and now 2 from that, putting them down to... Let me think about this, actually. Why are they at 14? I think they should be at 15. So here's the Ensnaring Bridge. The opponent has 4 cards in hand. I'm going to be able to swing unimpeded next turn. Yeah, I remind the opponent I think he's at 15. Put the AEther Vial on 1, and I can't complain about Mutavault. It is a creature. I'm going to swing here for 6. The opponent will go from 15 down to 9. He's going to draw a card next turn. He's going to have a hard time keeping his hand empty to keep this Ensnaring Bridge, or get this Ensnaring Bridge to do some work. Alright, so I'll play out my Master of Waves, threatening just to close the game out. Even through removal, because I have 3, 3, and 4 between the Mutavault and the 2 Lords of Atlantis. Looking pretty rough for the opponent right here. I've got Island Walk, redundant Island Walk with the 2 Lords. Thopter Foundry is not going to do anything right now. They can gain a couple life if they sacrifice some stuff. But if they sacrifice Ensnaring Bridge, they're going to be back to square one. Thirst for Knowledge is going to take up all their mana. Looks like you might have to scoop here. Let's see if that's what happened. Yeah, so scooped it up, showing that Ensnaring Bridge is not always a total gotcha card, especially if we're on the play and have a decent clock in our opening hand. We can apply enough pressure before the opponent can actually empty their hand and make Ensnaring Bridge actually a useful card. I do run 1 Echoing Truth in the main deck, but I can't really rely on, drawing through my entire deck to hit that card. If the opponent gets their combo online before I draw my Echoing Truth, then it would have been over, but as it was, I was the faster deck, and we'll go ahead and look at game 2, see how that one went. Oh, I'm sorry, this looks like the same game again. Let me try again. Alright, looks like I did bring in Hurkyl's Recalls. On the opponent's side, they've got 2 lands, but only blue mana. Executioner's Capsule for removal, Path to Exile for removal, Engineered Explosives for removal, Tezzeret to search up combo pieces. Sketchy keep for the opponent with only blue mana. On my side, I like what I've got. Hurkyl's Recall is going to be able to get rid of Ensnaring Bridges and Thopter Foundry pieces. So, okay, the opponent did mulligan, and it looks like their land situation is better this time. They do have a Path to Exile and a Damnation. So, let's see how it goes. The opponent's going to start. They chose to put a land at the bottom of their deck with their Scry. I drew into a Cursecatcher, which is excellent. It'll allow me to play him out on turn 1. Okay, the opponent drew a Sword of the Meek. Not really doing too much by itself right now, but the opponent will use his mana to get that out onto the table now. For my turn, with the opponent tapped out, I will hold back the Cavern of Souls for now, hoping that the opponent will choose to leave up Counter Magic next turn. Though these combo decks don't really tend to run too much Counter Magic, much more removal with Path to Exiles and Damnations. So the opponent has a fetch land. They can crack it for white mana if they want to access Path to Exile, but they do only have the one land that can get them the white mana. Okay, I draw another Island Walk Lord. Looks pretty good to me. So I'll play out my Cavern now that the opponent has mana up and can potentially counterspell something. Play the second Island Walk Lord, swing with these guys, trying for 6, but it's probably just going to be 4. Actually less, because the opponent will path the attacking Lord. But they take 3 off of their fetch shock, and are going to path this guy. So he's at 18. He's going to take 3 and go down to 15. That guy dies, and the opponent takes 2 more, goes down to 13. Okay, and they find their second combo piece, but I'm applying a lot of pressure currently. Let's see what direction they go with this. A Damnation is going to be held off, showing the power of Cursecatcher. Can't imagine the opponent doesn't go for it here. I mean, yes, if they go for it, they can only make two Thopters and gain 2 life this turn. But it gets out of hand quickly because next turn they can gain 4 life, make 4 Thopters. What's the plan here? Well, they just passed the turn. I drew into Negate, which is going to be excellent. Regardless of what the opponent chooses to play, this is going to hit all the spells in their hand. So I'm actually, I think, going to be pretty conservative here. That Negate is excellent insurance. I'm going to play out the Mutavault as another creature that I can start attacking with next turn. And I'll try to swing for 4 here. Actually, I should say, with all this blue mana up and having not seen a lot of the opponent's deck yet, I realized they could have been playing Snapcaster Mage, and I wouldn't have been able to counter that guy with Negate. So instead, I just got in with the Cursecatcher to sort of test the waters. Since the opponent didn't bring out a Snapcaster Mage, I'm going to feel a little bit more comfortable swinging with the Lord next turn. Alright, so I'm just going to pass to the opponent. They're going to path to Exile, and seeing that he's got 1 combo piece on the board already, I'm inclined to not counter this. But it looks like I chose to go with maintaining the board that I've developed. So Path to Exile is going to get negated. And I guess, okay, so I've still got Hurkyl's Recall to deal with the combo if that's what the opponent chooses to do. So Negate was pretty safe there. The opponent stuck on 4 lands is not able to get this Damnation going since I have the Cursecatcher on the table. Alright, so play out that Oboro, activate Mutavault, and start swinging. Let's see if we can get the opponent to... well, there's another Path to Exile. So the Lord will go away. Going to get another island, and the opponent takes 3. Going down to 8. At this point, it looks like the best play is to resolve Master of Waves for 2 elementals, because that will be a lethal attack next turn. If the opponent chooses to go for the combo, I do have Hurkyl's Recall, just waiting. Inquisition of Kozilek is a decent draw. I could get the Hurkyl's Recall out, but it's not going to stop my lethal attack. Alright, so the opponent doesn't even try to resolve Damnation. They respect the Cursecatcher. If he did try to resolve Damnation, I would be swinging next turn for 6+3, so it would still be lethal even with the Cursecatcher off the board. Alright, so once again we see that Merfolk does pretty well against various Esper builds. This was less of a control deck and more of a combo deck, sort of combo/control. I think this deck is much more powerful, at least against Merfolk, than just the straight up Esper control deck that runs things like Esper Charm and Think Twice. This deck at least threatens to go bonkers with the Thopter Foundry Sword of the Meek combo. I was fortunate to draw the sideboarded in counterspell to be able to keep my creatures on board a little bit longer and continue swinging for damage to close out the game. Had I not drawn that counterspell, things might have gone a little bit differently, but I guess we'll never know. The opponent didn't even try to get out his second combo piece, which is a little sad because it would have been tasty to bounce everything with a Hurkyl's Recall. Well, thanks for tuning in again. Please share any comments that you have on the match. Let me know if I made any mistakes. Let me know what you think about the opponent's play. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. I'm uploading videos all the time, so if you enjoy the content, there's a lot more to come. And I'll see you in the next video.